The Bitcoin futures market sees its second biggest drawdown in history. Thorchain adds lending. Trump says he'll replace Jerome Powell, and an ETH ETF is about to get approved. Let's talk about it. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Crypto Daily. Got a bunch of news today to talk about. First off, let me jump to this. So we had the biggest liquidation event in basically, in at least in this year, and possibly the second or third biggest liquidation event in the past couple of years. It was an $800 million liquidation in one day, and then we saw a bunch of cascading liquidations after that. So I'll leave this article linked below if you want to jump into it. But Will Clemente, obviously, always love quoting him. He was talking about how it was the fifth largest single day decline in Bitcoin futures open interest on record, which is actually the second largest decline if you look at not just perpetuals, which is what he was looking at, but if you look at all Bitcoin futures, it was the second largest decline. So it was a huge liquidation event. Definitely wiped out a lot of positions. I think we saw it draw down from about 30K to 25K at the low. So a lot of people got wiped out. But 25K looks like it held pretty solid. So this was from Miles Ducher. He was obviously talking about the liquidations as well. So there were more liquidations on that day, which was I think Thursday of last week, than during the FTX collapse in November 2022. So definitely a big event, for the crypto market, and I think a lot of people got scared. Obviously, things started looking really bullish with BlackRock's ETF on the horizon, but that's the one thing about crypto is when you think you know everything, that's when crypto teaches you that you don't know shit. So Bitcoin is also now trading below its 200-day and 200-week moving averages, which is the first time it's done that since January. For me, I'm not a huge technical analysis guy, but what I like to see in this is that it's potentially a good signal to accumulate. So I picked up some Bitcoin at 26K, picked up some at 25K, and I've been buying. My last buy was earlier this morning, again around like 26,100. So I've been buying Bitcoin, and obviously I feel like it's a good long-term investment. I mean that's pretty much a given, but looking at some of these longer-term indicators for me just shows me that it's a good time to accumulate. Obviously, do it slowly, do it methodically. That's how I always do it. So, Thorchain, again, something that I accumulate is the Rune token. I'm a big believer in their protocol. I think it's great for Bitcoin, great for really all layer ones. So if you don't know, they're a multi-chain decentralized exchange that allows you to trade layer ones. It's pretty much the only of its kind. They recently launched lending, actually yesterday. And now you can do layer one lending for the first time ever. And this is not through a centralized exchange. So it's the first time you can ever do this in a decentralized way using DeFi. So the protocol is obviously, early alpha stage in terms of lending. So I'm planning to give this a try, but with a small amount. I'd recommend, testing is testing, right? So just something to keep an eye on. I love Rune, love what they're doing. So Trump did this interview last week, and he said that if he's elected, he will replace Jerome Powell in 2024. So obviously that would be good for the industry. I think Jerome tends to take a little bit of a negative view on crypto. So possibly a more crypto positive person would get put in. I think there's a lot of hatred towards Jerome Powell, but given the position he's in, I think you can do the best you can, but I think it's a little bit of an event for crypto, not much, but something to keep an eye on if Trump were to elect someone who's a little more crypto positive. If you remember from last week's Crypto Daily episode, I talked about how Trump owns some Ethereum. So definitely possible we see someone who's a little more crypto friendly, but just thought it was an interesting piece of news in TradFi. Another piece of TradFi news is NVIDIA. So, if you don't know, NVIDIA is being used, basically as like the staple of the AI movement. Obviously, they make graphics chips, and that's becoming more and more relevant as AI grows. So NVIDIA is a $1 trillion company, and they just keep going up. It's only up season for NVIDIA. So something to keep an eye on too. Some people are actually buying into NVIDIA now. Obviously, that's where you see the price going up, but you know, some people are saying that it's oversold or overbought. But you know, when you consider how big AI could be, and Nvidia has basically got a monopoly on the market, you know, as long as they keep doing what they're doing and don't lose market share to some other new player, I don't see them going anywhere. So ETH ETF, that's like the big headline right now. And some people, some insiders are saying that there's going to be an ETH ETF that gets approved even before the Bitcoin ETF. So, you know, I think a lot of Ethereum people are happy about that. I obviously own Ethereum and Bitcoin. But, you know, I think it's one of those things where we're all talking about it and we're all waiting to see what the SEC does. SEC is obviously pretty anti-crypto right now under Gensler. But some insiders are saying that they'll list an ETF soon for Ethereum. So I would love to see it. I think most of us would. So again, this is a little more information on the Ethereum ETFs. This Eric guy has been kind of calling out for it, and there's a bunch of filings for an ETH ETF. So you know, obviously BlackRock's not a player in this one. They're a player in Bitcoin. You know, I think most of us think that it's pretty much a guarantee that their Bitcoin ETF gets approved, but Ethereum just kind of sidelined all of us. So we'll see what happens. HBD savings is growing. So if you don't know, HBD is a stable coin. It's the biggest stable coin holding that I personally have. I hold a bunch of it in savings and earn 20% interest on it. So I just thought this was an interesting analysis by Dow's talking about how HBD keeps growing. So something to keep an eye on. I obviously think that HBD and Hive are super underrated, super undervalued. You know, if you can earn 20% interest on a stable coin these days, you're doing something right. So, you know, given that there are risks, and keeping an eye on metrics like this can kind of keep you out of harm's way. So always keep an eye on, I guess the broader idea there would be always keep an eye on what you're invested in. So love these charts and analysis. I'll leave it linked below. And that's all I got for today. Thanks for listening. Catch you next time.